Hello, W4CY listeners. Are you ready to learn the spiritual laws to success and wealth? Well, pack your virtual bags, because it's 1 p.m. Eastern and it's time for the Traveling Investor Radio Show, sponsored by Cornerstone Investment Partners and RE/MAX Commercial Realty Partners. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to get wealthy. And now, here's your host and travel guide, the real estate guru, Nitsan Mosery.
Travelers, Nitsan Mosery here, the traveling investor, and I'm here with my co-host Tom Zames, and we still have not come up with a name. I need you guys to help us come up with a name for this guy, a little online, show name.
No, we're not doing the philosopher.
Are you good with that?
Kind of like it.
All right.
A little bit.
If you're good with it,
I'm not offended by it.
Not offended by it, but maybe we can come up with something a little bit. A little that runs off the tongue a little bit better, a little bit cooler, more modern.
Okay.
Something like that. Why don't you guys, let us know where you're listening in from. We always like to know where our listeners and where travelers are hanging out, listening to us. So we had a good week this week, right?
Yeah.
We're just coming off of the mastermind that we had planned on Saturday, right? And we were there. There were about 18 other people there.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it rocked, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? You were one of the people sitting in the seats and sharing and giving and talking. So what were some of your impressions? What were some of your thoughts on it, man?
So my thoughts are this: no matter where you're at in life, everybody's got something that they're working on, something that they're having trouble with. Even people that don't think they're having trouble with something, they're having trouble with something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to get into an environment where you can share something you're dealing with, whether it be work-related, success, health, relationship, whatever, and get feedback from 20 people, as opposed to one person or 2 people or 5 people. More brains, the better. So there was a lot of information shared, a lot of great advice given, and I think a lot of takeaways from everybody that was there.
It was a good variety of people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different ideas, married couples, single people, so everybody has their perspective on a situation, and you had mentioned when we were at the mastermind, during the mastermind, you said that you came up with you had come up or you had a good idea that kind of sprawled out of the mastermind.
It was an idea for a funny video. So I'm going to be doing funny skits, videos and whatnot. And I don't know where it came from, but somebody said something that triggered something. And then I know what it was. It was the years of experience. Somebody was worried about not having experience behind them.
Right.
And you brought up a good point of that. Not only is it's one thing to have your experience, but the experience of your team to pick up the slack for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a funny video idea off of that premise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what the mastermind is there for, right? People are talking, and it's funny that you said it because a couple of other people, when I was talking to them individually before the mastermind, they're like, well, you know what? I'm not really business oriented. I'm not really, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know if I have much to offer, if I have much to give, right? Everybody has something to give.
Everybody's got something. And if you say that you're not business oriented, you're not going to be business oriented. So once again, you got to be careful of how you're talking to yourself and what you're saying about yourself.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's what you say about yourself, but also understanding that everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah.
We all have a life. We've all gone through through different experiences. Some had a great life, that, what? Shit, everything was great for me.
Yeah.
Parents were great, house was great, school was great, lived in a great neighborhood, Some people started off crappy and made something better of themselves. So, everybody has a perspective, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And
can share.
And just because someone has an idea or has a challenge in a business, with a business background to it, it doesn't mean that what somebody else is saying doesn't hit a note. And that's what I told these other people. I said, look, you're in the jewelry business, you're in the health and wellness business. You don't have to be in the real estate business, because somebody may be talking about, I'm working long hours and I just can't stay focused. Well, you're in the health and wellness business. Show them how to stay focused, right? You're in the jewelry business. How do I get more clients? How do I get more people to see my product?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Yossi made a comment. By the time it was his turn, he said, half of my questions already got answered just by listening to other people go.
Right.
And that's what happens.
And that's actually a very successful mastermind.
Yeah.
When the people at the end are like, I'm awesome. I don't need to talk anymore,
I'm good,
right?
Yeah.
I'm good. Everybody shared already.
Right.
I see I'm not the only one with those challenges.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's coming up with pretty much the same ideas, the same challenges, obstacles, and what I liked so much was that sometimes what people thought were the problem wasn't really the issue. It was something else.
Yeah.
Right. Or they were thinking, hey, did that happen to you when you were blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, I never really thought of that. And then, a light shines, and a whole different understanding, a whole different perspective, a whole new different world is there. So that was awesome. That was awesome.
Or sometimes people don't even see what their problem is, but other people see it.
Right.
And then they explain it, and then they're like, ooh.
Right. Wow. The heavens open up and the lights shine down.
Right.
And the angels start singing, right? We got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. And everybody there was an entrepreneur, was either successful in their business, starting out in their business, right? All different stages.
All different. Doesn't matter.
And it was fantastic. It was really incredible to see how a group of strangers suddenly came in and were willing to share and help and ask and be active, and everybody in that room was active. Everybody was talking, even the woman, even Ilana, who had, her English wasn't that great.
Right.
She was able to give and contribute and whatnot, and it was great.
Absolutely.
And the fact that people from different backgrounds, right? Variety of backgrounds, variety of people. Different ideas were thrown out there, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, like you said, perspective.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome. So today, what we got, Libby here. I love getting together with people. 2 heads are better than one.
Yeah.
2 heads, 10 heads, 20 heads. Imagine if you have 20 heads working on trying to come up with what your issues are, or trying to solve your challenges and obstacles, and 20 brains.
Yeah.
That's what we had working there.
Yeah.
And it was solid, man. It was solid. So if you're ever interested in exploring what a mastermind can do for your personal life, for your business life, because there was one woman up there, she was talking how, she's always feels like giving, and not work. And we hit back that it was affecting her in her personal life and in her business life.
Yeah.
And it was something that happened to her way back when.
Yeah.
And when the heavens opened up for her, now she's able to go back and, work differently on her personal life, family life, business life, and it all it's all holistic.
Yep.
It's all part of the same, right?
How much of the people's issues, some of them were technical, like, I need, something with social medias and that. How much of it do you think was mindset related? What percent?
Oh, wow. I think I would say 95% was mindset.
Yeah.
Even it was funny. It's funny to say that, because one of the people there had a social media company, remember? Yeah. And he was talking about how he's hitting a plateau with his company.
Yeah.
And what should he do and how should he do it and blah, blah, blah. So we asked him, we said, well, what do you tell your customers when they tell you they've hit a plateau? well, I tell them to do this and to expand, and they need to, pour more gasoline on this and do that. I said, well, there you go. There's your solution, right?
Right.
So it was also, that is also part of the mindset, right? Being able to take your own advice, doing what you say to other people, right?
And his also a big takeaway from him is saying no to things too.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Saying no in life. That was a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Learning to say no, right? To things that take up time but don't really move you forward.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the percentage of mindset to technical?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, 85, 90, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's up there. Mindset's everything.
Mindset is absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. If you don't have the right mindset, you can't even get out of bed in the morning.
You can't. And we have all the answers already inside us. So
that's right.
If your mind's not operating right, you can't even get the answers that are right underneath your nose.
That's right. Yeah. You're not open to seeing them.
Yep.
Right? And they'll just pass you by. And you'll wonder, why aren't I getting any opportunities?
Right.
How come nobody's coming knocking on my door?
Like your joke about God sending a boat,
the helicopter, the police. Right. It's like, dude, what else do you want? What else do you want? Yeah, that's awesome, man. So today's guest, right? She is a firecracker. When you meet her personally, her energy is through the roof. She is phenomenal. She created her own business. She was an editor of magazines and all that. I'm just going to read you a little bit from her bio. Sarah Martin has been making a spectacle, in a good way, over the last 20 years in the event industry. She's known to be a firecracker, absolutely. Her energy has brought excitement to the event landscape in both private and corporate. She's the CEO and founder of Experience Epic. They put on these awesome shows, man. Awesome events, big events, small events. 125,000 people, 40 people, whatever it is, she puts it on and dude, an event planner.
Yeah.
Talk about systems.
Yeah.
Talk about knowing where everybody is at that given moment, right? All those moving pieces, vendors, employees, this, that, the location, all that stuff, right? So you got to, if you're running an event company, you got to be organized. You got to have all your systems in place, everything in line, and there's a lot of competition out there. So you got to set yourself apart from all the others, right? So we're going to talk to her about how she does that. Her company, Experience Epic, has engaged in businesses with a combined total of over $17 million in-kind and cash sponsorships. That's huge, man. $17 million. Like I said, over as large as 125,000 people, CNN, CNBC, Power Lunch, Huffington Post, Wall Street Journal, and more. She's done, where is it here? It talks about, what were you talking about? That event?
Dinner in the Sky.
Yeah. So she's done cutting events in South Florida, like Dinner in the Sky. How awesome is that, man?
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
She started out as a CEO of her own public arts consulting company. She facilitated public art selection panels, installation projects. So she's all over. She knows about, seeing a space and giving it its highest and best use, right? Yeah. Let's see here. She's originally from Jonesboro, Arkansas. So this is like, middle America girl from, Wazoo, Wisconsin, in the middle of freaking Arkansas, right? Farm girl. Right?
Yeah.
Coming to so-called the big city and just blowing it out the water. So if you're sitting out there and you're listening to us right now and you're kind of, wondering, well, you know what, shit, how, I don't have resources.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm somebody from Wazoo, Wisconsin, from Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't know how to do this shit. I don't know how to get up and be wealthy. I don't know how to make, $17 million in business and sponsorships. I have no idea how to do that. I have no idea how to do real estate, because you know what? On top of everything, she's also doing real estate. She's flipping houses. She's renovating 2 1924 historic homes. You see?
Busy woman.
It doesn't matter what business you're in. Everybody's doing real estate. Everybody's doing real estate. So we've got Sarah. She's going to come on. She's going to talk, and we're going to ask her about how she got started, what it's like being a woman in the business world, fighting that and how she went from a farm girl in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't even know if there are farms in Jonesboro. I've never even heard of it.
There's got to be.
It's probably one or two, right?
Yeah.
Right? How she went from there to being married to Marcelo and having 2 daughters and living in Lake Worth in South Florida and fixing homes and doing all that. So let's see. What does Cindy say before we go? Cindy says the mind is the best tool to have. Dude, it is. And you got to keep it sharp, right?
Yeah.
You got to keep that thing sharp. Thank you, Cindy. Ken says you should stand out from everyone else no matter what. So you know what? Ken, talk to us more about that. How do you stand out from everybody else? You know, what makes you different, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think while Ken's typing?
Standing out from everybody else. I think it's just to be as much as yourself, unique, authentic self that you possibly can. Everybody's, real estate agents, these markets are all saturated, right? All everybody has is their uniqueness. That's it. That's really what, there's other things like, who how hardworking, but it's your unique individuality that really separates you from other people in a good way or not necessarily a bad way, right? It's just like you and I, we got our own personalities. We're different. Right. Somebody might like you sitting at home, they'd be like, Tom, I don't know if I care for that guy, That's just the way it is.
And just the opposite.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
So that's just embracing who you are is a good way to stand out from the crowd, I think.
Absolutely. I agree with that. That's awesome. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to our sponsors, and we're going to talk to Sarah, and we will be right back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Traveling Investor on W4CY Radio. Please take a moment to listen to the sponsors who have a secret message just for you. Don't leave. The best is yet to come. The Traveling Investor will be right back.
I wanna be rich. Oh, I wanna be rich.
Behind everything you're searching for is something you're actually looking for. When you search with the Real Yellow Pages, you get more than a contractor. You get a whole new curb appeal. It's not just getting directions to a dry cleaner with YP.com. It's rescuing an old favorite from the back of the closet. And it's more than finding a locksmith with YP.com on your mobile. It's getting to sleep in your own bed. Whatever it might be, there are more ways to search and more ways to find exactly what you're looking for with the Real Yellow Pages, YP.com, and YP.com on your mobile, only from AT&T.
Hey, this is Rebel Mother. Join me for In Your Face on W4CY.com, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
How healthy is your pet? Does your pet suffer from ear infections, allergies, diabetes, cancer? Does your pet have a sensitive stomach? Well, we have the solution. Who are we? Fiesta Pet Deli. South Florida's original and only fresh food deli for pets. Our exclusive real food diets bring back the puppy and kitten in your pet. Have a healthier pet, less shedding, less scratching and itching, and eliminate allergies. We carry a full assortment of healthy, holistic, frozen, canned, and dry foods. Try out South Florida's largest selection of natural supplements. We also have a large selection of natural treats, chews, and natural grooming products. It's only natural to stop by Fiesta Pet Deli for all your natural products to keep your pet healthier and happier. Stop by Fiesta Pet Deli at the Festival Marketplace, located at Sample Road and the Turnpike in Pompano. Or call us at 954-97...
Tom Mosley, the Traveling Investor, with my co-host, Tom, Philosopher Extraordinaire Zames. And we've got Sarah Martin on the line. What's happening, Sarah?
How are you guys? I'm doing good.
Yeah, we're doing well. So Sarah, meet Tom. Tom meets Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
What's going on? How are you?
Good. Just we're actually at a venue right now. We have an event that we're running right now, and so I stepped out to be here with you guys, which I'm super excited about.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. I know you're super busy. You know, you're a firecracker. You're making a spectacle. You're a wife. You're a mother of 2. So you got a lot on your plate. So that's awesome. So let's get to it real quick, okay? because I know you're super busy. So you started your company, Experience Epic. You were magazine editor. You had your own art consulting company as well. You did all that. How did you get started in the business world? And what attracted you to that?
Well, the way, specifically with events, the way I fell into it was I just took a leap of faith. Someone asked me, hey, would you like to throw this huge event? And I said, yeah, sure. And I really didn't have a lot of training or anything like that. And it ended up being one of our largest events that we've produced, which was a New Year's Eve event for the city of Delray Beach. So it was 14 city blocks. There were 24 venues within that. There were 200 volunteers. We sold 8,000 tickets, 2 fireworks shows. I mean, it was pretty intense. And after that, I was pretty much hooked. And the event industry had its claws in me from that point on. My passion found me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, just like a lot of entrepreneurs, you just jumped off the cliff. And as you were falling, you kind of built a plane underneath you to take you where you needed to go.
100%. Even when I started my own company, I made a personal choice to leave the company that I had been working for. This is the only job I had ever had. And I left on a high note as far as that goes. But I left primarily because I needed more flexibility. And I needed to be able to have more time with my children. And my family. So being an entrepreneur definitely afforded me that in many ways. But I did. One day I was like, this is it. I'm going to just do it. Like, let's go. So we did. We jumped off that cliff again.
That's awesome. So when you went to make your proposal, so walk us through that. Walk us through that whole process of how you got such a big gig before you even ever did an event.
I think I was, honestly, what I had been doing at that point was when I had my art consultant, art public implement. What we did was we implemented public art programs throughout the state. And I had done a project in Delray, and I always presented myself well and made sure to stay connected to every person that I interacted with and really make an impression. And I think that's sort of what led them to think of me in regards to that specific event. But I love to make an impact with each person I connect with and talk with. Just the back-to-back communication doesn't work for me. I like to really be in a conversation where you generate an idea or you generate a concept. And that's pretty impactful in the communications that we have with possible future clients, or even back then, what we were able to do with that event. So, yeah.
Wow. And how long did it take you to build the team to help you work the event, and then the team that you have in your company?
So the team that it took me to build now, honestly, it took a lot of trial and error. A lot. One time somebody told me, you kiss a lot of frogs. And I was like, okay, all right, I get it. So it's actually a really successful business person in Palm Beach County. And I was like, okay, I get it. But, really weeding out those that have the drive, have the dedication, present properly, are well-spoken, and really have a passion for events is really, really important. And I have to have a personal connection with them. So it's taken about 5 years before I really started to bring on people that I felt like they were going to stay with me for quite a while.
Oh, wow. 5 years, huh?
Yeah, I know.
She's very selective.
Very selective. Yeah. Extremely selective.
But I'm really proud of my team right now. We have a fantastic team. Everybody is obsessed with events. It's not just a job. And they are all really, 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 really talented people. So I'm very excited for my team right now, for sure.
That's awesome.
Well, that's a good point. So say she rushed the team together and it took her 2 years. She might have, my team's okay, but she's got the team that she wants.
Right.
Yeah.
She's got the winning team.
It's a perfect team for sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. So travelers out there, when you're listening, if you're struggling to find, your team and whatnot, just, follow Sarah's lead, be very picky with who you bring in on your team, make sure that these are people that are going to last, that are going to help build your company and see your company as their company, right? That's probably one of the most important things when you're bringing people on, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think also having an understanding of why they're there and what they want to achieve is really important as well. Obviously, I want to keep my team around for a long time. So I have to be as vested in them and what they want to accomplish as they are invested in the company. So I do spend quite a bit of time on really connecting with them. For instance, I have a 1-year anniversary of an employee recently, and I don't even think she remembered like the date that she started with me. And so I just blocked out our entire day, and I'm just taking her for a surprise day. Like, she doesn't even know what we're doing. I'm just like, pack a bag, we're going, we're celebrating, and I'm just gonna like gush all over her because I really appreciate all that she does. But you have to make sure that they know,
Absolutely.
She read Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I actually haven't, but I should.
You haven't?
No, I
You
should.
don't need to. You clearly don't need to.
It's in my Audible list. Like, I gotta listen to it.
Yeah,
There you go.
you're living it. You're already living it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome, man. No, it's so true. Once you have somebody that really is an asset, you need to keep them as an asset.
Yeah.
Right? And you need to fawn all over them. You need to, because they will make you wealthy, right? They will work their asses off for you. But if you treat them like crap, whatever you give is what you're going to get, right?
100%. 100%.
Right? Absolutely. So being in business, right? Being in business for yourself and whatnot. You talked about your team and whatnot. How have you built a culture around your team, and how did you do that?
So part of the reason why being so selective it was based upon culture. So each one of the people that's on my team currently, they have all at some point prior to working with me really accomplished something immense, right? They've either worked on large scale, large budget celebrity events, or even large scale festivals and concerts, to working with amazing brands and business to consumer product launches, etc. Things that I personally admire. And I think that they all have that experience, and that means a lot, because that's a huge part of our culture, is just everything that we are doing. You want to make sure that each guest, when they're 85 years old and they're sitting in their rocking chair, that they're like, oh my gosh, I remember that event. It was so amazing. Like, that's what we have to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how do you convey that message to your team?
So each time we sit down, we come up with a proposal, and then we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So I also encourage my team constantly to be researching. We are constantly doing site visits to new venues, to new spaces. Just really keeping those creative juices flowing is really, really important. And that they can throw out any idea. I mean, recently we landed our client on top of a house that he was using as it was his grand opening. We landed him from a helicopter on top, like, no idea is too much. And it gets everybody excited. Like, you don't want to just be throwing like a regular ho-hum event. It doesn't make you excited,
like
you're
the Count
having
of
fun.
Monte Cristo.
Do
Coming
what?
in on a hot air balloon. The Count of Monte Cristo arriving on a hot air balloon with fireworks going off.
Right.
There were fireworks too, actually. We had huge fireballs that went off the top of the building. Yeah, there's not much we haven't shot fireworks off of, I gotta say.
That's great.
Yeah, we definitely like to ramp it up and make sure that the entire guest experience is really managed to every final detail. And that's also a big part, is that, while we dream big and we come up with these crazy ideas, we also I also have to know that my team can follow up with the details, and they know that. And sometimes I put them in charge. And I'm like, and what I mean by that is I know what lane I need to stay in the most, like to make sure that my company still grows. And if I start to veer off into the lane that I've already like had them taken care of, I tell them, I'm like, slap my wrist. Tell them like, no, Sarah, you got to get back over here in this lane. Because sometimes that creativity and the logistics and all that stuff, it's a lot of fun, you know, but I have to pull myself out of it. So I give them the power to be like, nope, get over there. Stay in your lane.
Absolutely. So, you know, we have to learn how to get out of our own way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We hire these people, we put them in there for a reason, and we got to let them run, right?
Absolutely.
The trust, the delegation.
Yep. So let me ask you this. From Jonesboro, Arkansas. I have no idea where that is.
It's near Memphis, sort of.
Okay.
Like, it's up in the northeast corner of Arkansas.
Any farms out there?
There's a lot of farms. It's a lot of. It's actually Jonesboro, Arkansas has it used to be. It may still the largest rice mill in the nation, and like 90% of the rice through America goes there. But there's rice fields and soybeans and all that stuff. Yes, but I dealt more with horses. We raced horses.
We have a question here from one of our listeners out there. Actually, we have a couple of comments. Best way to start a job opportunity, just jump all in. Yes, thank you, Sandy. Sam says, if you don't have passion, you won't go anywhere. That's true, Sam. And Samantha asks, how did you get out of your bubble? And that's exactly what I was leading up to, right? Jonesboro, Arkansas, rice farm. You know, you're this girl living on a farm. How did you go out there and make it? What was going on in your mind? What was going on in your life? How did you do that?
I mean, while Arkansas is beautiful and, you know, there's a lot of great experiences there, I knew from 9th grade that I was getting out of there, and I was going to do it however, whenever possible. And so I really set the bar for myself to get a scholarship to leave. You know, basically got a full ride, and I was determined. It was not the place for me. The culture of Arkansas is not what I find to be exciting, and I also have some personal issues with things that go on in Arkansas. Like, I just don't care for it. So I left there, got my full ride, and went to college. And I also sort of wanted to recreate myself, and I was able to do that by coming to Florida. I think at one point also I had another bubble that I ended up being in, and that was Delray Beach. And I got to a point where I really sort of despised it. As much as I love Delray and what it has done for my career and for like finding my passion and all of that, I much gratitude for that. However, like, it gets to a point where you feel like you really can't grow anymore. You can't get any bigger. And so I set a goal for myself that we were going to do our first event out of state. And I felt like that was going to make me feel like, oh, you broke out of the bubble, you know? And it did. It was pretty amazing. It's like, oh, wow. Like, you know, the world is bigger than this little area. You know, there's millions of people in the world. Like, we can have a lot of fun. So that was, I think it just, you get to a point, and for me, it just gets to where I have to break out. Like, it's frustration. It's all of that. Like, there's no other option but like to go, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. So what I was hearing was that you had a definite plan. You were like, I'm out of here. That's my goal. That's my destiny, right? That's my destination. You put all of your energy and effort and passion into getting out, right? You probably didn't know how, you didn't know where. You're like, you know what? This is going to be my ticket, right? I'm going to get a full scholarship. I'm going to work towards that, and that's going to be my way out. So you had a definite plan, definite goal. You had, you know, amazing passion and desire and drive to accomplish that. And then, you know, once you were able to leave, you said bye-bye. You never looked in the back. in the rearview mirror, and you just kept going forward. Now, what made you go from Arkansas to Florida? What was, why Florida?
So I had learned how to scuba dive in lakes, which is always interesting. But I thought that I wanted to be a marine biologist. So I looked up the top 10, schools for marine biology, and Florida Atlantic University was one of those. And so I came down, and to be honest, I had a huge shock, huge shock. I ended up almost losing my scholarship in my second semester.
A little too much?
I had fun.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Let's talk about that.
Let's not talk about that. Thankfully, there are no, cell phones at that time, cameras and all that. Right. But I definitely, you let the cat out of the bag, I got it. But I went back to the school because some things personally had happened during that time frame that were very impactful. And so I was able to go back to the school and explain that to them, and they were able to give me a academic probation. So that, and then once that happened, once I got to the point where it was like, oh my gosh, you almost lost your scholarship. You're headed back to Arkansas. You're going to be a failure. After that, it was like, that can never happen again. So I just just went for it. And I ended up becoming a student government senator. And I, chaired a whole bunch of committees and really got involved in the school in a big way. And just ate up every single opportunity I had. Anytime we even saw a gallery that was open, there's 2 or 3 galleries on the university campus. I would go to the director and say, hey, can we borrow your gallery? We want to throw our own show, a student show, or we were always just creating a lot. And so I feel like, that was what brought me down here. Oh, but how I ended up into events is once I almost lost my scholarship, I decided, marine biology was no longer for me. And I switched to fine art and a minor in business.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's how you got into the art world.
Yeah.
So, while you were talking, something hit me.
Yeah.
You went and you did your largest event without knowing how to do events.
Correct.
So a lot of people out there in the 5 countries and everywhere that people are listening on the internet now.
Yeah.
Were you scared? Were you afraid of failing?
No.
No. I love it. I love it. That's great. But so a lot of people being thrown into that situation, they're freaking out, going, "Oh my God, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it?" What was your mindset?
I mean, I wanted the experience. I just was so excited to have to learn something new, to have a new experience around what I normally did. I feel like with events, a lot of it is pretty logical, but anytime I got stuck, anytime I got to a point where it's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what the process even is. Even having a fireworks show, what are the rules? What are the regulations? Where can I put you? Who needs to be there? How do we make sure it's safe?
Right.
They are little mini bombs, Mm-hmm. And so, I took it on as more from being curious and just wanting to learn and learn and learn and learn. I didn't take it on as oh my gosh, I'm taking on this event and, I could fail. Fail wasn't really even a consideration. It was just sort of all right, we're going to figure it out.
Let's figure it out. We'll get it done, right? Whatever it takes, we'll get it done. And you had fun doing it.
There is no such thing as failure. It's just learning.
Right. Right. It's learning what doesn't work.
Right.
So when what were we talking about just now? We were talking about
she went to do an event.
That's right.
She's never done one before.
So how important are systems for you? And having systems in place and having checks and balances and so forth.
It is.
And how do you create your systems?
It is wildly important, and I have several different systems. I tend to be a little ADD with them sometimes. It drives my team nuts, but like I get started on a system and I'm like, oh yay, I'm all organized. And then like, I don't know, 8 months later, I'm like, let's try this system. And they're like, no. I'm like, it could be better. It could be more efficient. And they're like, no, we're good. But definitely, you know, just the procedures of many events are pretty synonymous across each event, tweaks here or there. So that's really important. Also, task management. I use a very simplified task management system that was introduced to me by a dear friend named Roy Assad. And he, it is so crazy simple, but it really helps me to focus on each task at hand, which ultimately makes me more efficient long range. You know, I'm not that person that like, huh?
Can you share that system?
Yeah, it's basically 3 folders, and one is called Now, one is called Not Now, and one is called Never Now. Okay, so everything that's in your, and my emails are categorized like this too. But like everything that's in your Never Now is something that you're going to do over 30 days from now. So if it's more than 30 days away, that goes in that folder, and you check that folder once a month to see if it moves into your Not Now folder. Your Not Now folder is basically everything that you're not doing today, right? Anything else in the next 30 days that you think will get done or needs to be done, it goes in that folder. And so when you look at your Now folder, that's everything that you are committed to getting done that day. And it allows you to really take, instead of living in this land of like insane lists and all that mess, that system allows you to have function and operate with a very clear mind, because that folder is empty every single day. It's actually really freeing in the craziest way, but I love it.
Right? It's amazing when you see it in front of you and you're able to accomplish everything, and then you go to that folder and it's empty. Like, dude, I did all that. That's awesome.
It gives you a great sense of accomplishment, you know, because I'm sure you guys have experienced this, where you get so many things done in the day, and then at the end of the day, you just move to the next day, and you don't even give yourself any credit or, you know, say, hey, you did a great job today. Look at all that, you know.
Right. Absolutely. That gives you the fire and the energy to wake up tomorrow and continue going.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
You need that. Yeah. So let me ask you this. So being in business, being an entrepreneur, how is it being a woman in the business world? Do you see people treating you differently? Do you have, you know, do you have to prove yourself more? You know, tell us.
I can't really say that I've ever, I mean, maybe in the beginning when I started my company, just because the legitimacy of me being on my own, but I don't know if that's so much that I was a woman or if that it was just because I was starting out, right? I feel like, you know, when it comes to women operating in, you know, in the world, that, you know, you have to put your big girl pants on and like, you know, move and act and talk and be exactly how you want people to perceive you and how you want them to treat you, and also have boundaries. I mean, yeah, that there's been people that have done inappropriate things, tried, said, whatever, and you know, you have to have clear boundaries. You know, I'm in this world to create amazing events, not to, you know, do stupid things. But I think I don't know. I just feel like however you present yourself is how people are going to treat you ultimately, and how you treat them.
Okay, awesome. And what was one of your biggest challenges, and how did you overcome it, or why did you overcome it?
Like in my business itself?
Yeah. Sure. You know, people want to hear how you know, a farm girl from Jonesboro, Arkansas deals with, you know, some of her biggest challenges when she has no idea how to create events, and she just is wildly successful.
Yeah, maybe an event that was going awry.
Right. Was there an event that kind of you saw it slipping away and it was going the wrong way and you were able to save it, you know?
I mean, one of my biggest challenges, I mean, not within like a specific event, because every event, like, listen, event producers are the best problem solvers. Like, if you're not a good problem solver and you can't communicate well under stress, you shouldn't be in the industry, period. That's just a fact. So yeah, things have gone wrong, but like, you know, you always recover. And 9 times out of 10 without any of the guests or attendees knowing. However, I think that like the biggest challenge really was, and maybe still to even to this day, is to continue to keep a mindset that there is a possibility to grow even bigger. You know, I mean, I have said out loud, I want our agency to be, you know, the largest and the best events production agency in the nation. Well, yeah, you can say it, but at the same time, like, you have to take those steps forward, each step, bit by bit, to get there. And I think, you know, I constantly have to tell myself, be gentle with yourself. I constantly have to work on my mindset. I constantly have to, because, you know, it can get really overwhelming being an entrepreneur, and you, in some ways, go into uncharted territory. But I don't know. I mean, I think more than anything, it's just my own personal mindset is my biggest challenge. Just
absolutely, right?
I think that's everybody's.
I think that's everybody's biggest challenge, right? Is overcoming their own negative thoughts that we have in our minds every single day, right?
I have a question. What is this dinner in the sky experience? Is it what I'm thinking it is, where I've seen a massive table of people literally in a hot air balloon, thousands of feet in the sky having dinner? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not from a hot air balloon. It's from a crane. And
okay, even better.
I have this one folder. It's called my idea jar, and it has all these crazy ideas that are in it for future events. And that one had been in the jar for 3 years. And after seeing it in there for 3 years, I was finally like, we've got to do this. Like, we've got to find an excuse to do this event because I want to do it. And so we finally married some really good whys, and that was the presidential debate was here in Boca Raton, and we were responsible for marketing Delray Beach as a destination, a tourism destination. And we thought, wow, if we could get on that committee and then somehow like get this event to be a presidential debate sanctioned event, all this media is going to be here in South Florida during that time frame. And I said, it'll be the best flare gun in the sky you've ever seen. Absolutely. And we somehow, me and my 2 staff, like little kids, I'm telling you, like little kids, we literally like weaseled our way onto that committee somehow. To this day, I still don't know how we did it. I think we just showed up. I'm not kidding.
That's awesome.
We were probably like, why are you guys here? But the funny thing was, the second meeting, we had a full-fledged plan of action, and everybody else was just still like going like, oh, well, we may do this, we may do this. We're like, no, it's locked, ready to go. Permits are in, like, we're going. And so it was one of our most spectacular events. Obviously, it's one of the most dangerous, or perceived danger. And then we ended up on CNN, we ended up on CNBC, Huffington Post. I just discovered an article the other day. It was on Wall Street Journal. So it was pretty cool. I mean, it definitely worked. It was my favorite.
We were talking about it before the show, and we've got 2 minutes left, but we were talking about standing apart from everyone else.
Yeah.
And this, that, the dinner in the sky or whatnot, that separates you from everybody else, right?
100%.
Putting you on CNN, on CNBC, Wall Street Journal, that separates you from everybody else, right? Yeah. So, you always got to be thinking out of the box. I like to say, take the box, throw it away, right? Forget the box. Right?
There is no box.
Right, there is no box. Let's just see what we can do, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, we got another minute left. So Sarah, why don't you tell our listeners how they can reach you to do events if they need an event?
Absolutely. So you can reach me through experienceepic.com. We also just launched recently a sponsorship sales agency division tied to our event, our events agency. So we sell sponsors for all types of events, from fundraisers to business to consumer conferences. And then also you can reach me at sarah@experienceepic.com. Or
SARAH?
Oh yeah, sorry, with an H. Yes.
With an H.
At experienceepic.com. And we'd love to help anyone with events. It is what
Awesome.
we do.
Well, Sarah, that's it. Our time is up. You've been awesome. Thanks for being on the show. Thank you for taking time away from your busy schedule. I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Yes.
It was great seeing you the other night. We had a great time.
Fabulous.
It was awesome. And be well. And thanks again. It was awesome. And
Good to meet you.
And travelers, I'll leave you with this. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. And may the sunshine fall upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. Safe travels, okay? And we will see you somewhere on Spaceship Earth. I'm Neetam Moser, the traveling investor, and this is Tom
Zames, philosopher extraordinaire.
That's right. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Take care. Peace out.
Bye.
Wow, what a great show. Are you excited to learn the untold secrets of how to get wealthy? Then tune in next Thursday and every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern right here on W4CY Radio. You too can learn how to become a traveling investor. If you missed any part of this episode or want to hear it again, go to the Traveling Investor Podcast on iHeartRadio. You can listen to all past episodes on demand 24/7. Next week's episode will take us somewhere new and exciting, so don't miss it. Thank you for listening.